Oh, hello. Testing. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Oh, hello. I hope you're well and keeping safe. Thank you so much for being patient. Yes, so this meeting has delayed. We had a few technical challenges, but I'm glad now we are back. My name is Uli Jasin, and I'll be taking you through today's session. And today we'll be having an intro session to animation and coding. So when we talk about animation, what really comes to your mind? And we can look at animation in the perspective of um, the learner or a perspective of the project that you are working on. Okay, kindly confirm to me. Thank you, Eunice. I can see you've joined. Karibu sana, Eunice. Martin Krieger, welcome. Thank you so much. Karibu. Welcome on board. Welcome on board. Thank you so much. I like this to be an interactive session because I can see teachers are really now joining back. Yes. So, Mr. Omar, so what comes to your mind when you hear the word animation, or what does what do you feel an animation? If someone says animation, or you see the text animation, what comes to your mind? Anyone, any teacher who would like to give us feedback? Animation?
You can hear me?
Oh yes, yes, perfect. Yes.
Yeah. So regarding animation is
Uh huh. Oh, sorry, we lost you. Uh huh. Okay. Yeah. So animation is more of a technique of photographing successive drawings or positions of models to create an illusion of movement. A long time
presentation of
ago. Oh, sorry. Oh, yes, yes, kindly. Continue, Mr. Omar. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Omar. Asante. I'm not sure if the rest were able to hear you, but from my end, yes. Yeah, so I'd like us to dive into this. If you have a computer, then you could access the platform from, let me share the link on the chat so you find it is. Okay, so scratch.mit.edu. So we'll be using this platform to learn animation. Of course, there are so many other platforms that can be used to achieve the same. Thank you. Welcome on board. Yes, so once you get there, kindly click on start creating, click on create. It will take some time, then it will launch the screen. Once you click on start create, you can see. So by default, you'll have this tour. You'll have a video giving you a tour to the platform. Feel free to watch it. All right. Okay, so for the interest of time, I'll just give you a tour. I believe there are so many educators who have used this platform before, but then for the sake of those who have not used it and also those who have little experience on the platform, I'll take time to introduce it. Now, this is the taskbar. You can access settings. From settings, you can choose the language that you want to use. Yes, if you are in Kenya, you can try Kiswahili. There are so many other languages that you could try. Then there is the color mode. You can choose regional or high contrast. Now, depending with you can customize this to your liking. Then in case you need to open a file from your computer, then you can always go to file and then load from your computer, or save a file to your computer. So assuming you are building a project, you can always save a file to your computer. Then if you okay, I'll talk about this a little bit later. If you're not sure about something, you can always go and check on the tutorials. There are so many tutorials about different projects that educators. Okay, thank you. I can see so many people are joining now. There are so many tutorials here that you can select and maybe get started on something. How to add a sprite, how to add a backdrop, how to, using arrows, changing sizes, and so on and so on. If you come back, we have blocks and palettes. So, for example, under motion, we have under the motion palette, we have so many blocks. So these are palettes, these are blocks. So motion palette, we have move steps. So if you drag this, for example, move 10 steps, and then you click it, you can see my sprite is moving. You can also say turn 15 degrees. You could make it 10 or even 100, and your sprite will do exactly that. You can also instruct your sprite to go to random position, and you can see my sprite is moving random position. You can make it to go to a fixed position. For example, if I put my sprite there and I say go to XY, you can see it's not moving anywhere because the coordinate is already at 4 and 40. Okay, so if I was to drag this here and say 8, okay, 8 and 40, what will happen? You can see my sprite move. What if I change the Y position to maybe 80? What will happen? So it moved along the Y position. So this is Y, this is X axis. So I'm glad we are having this with teachers, and teachers, you already know the axes, and yes, most of those who are teaching STEM subjects, you are already familiar with such terminologies. You can also have it to glide a few, maybe glide to random positions. Okay, so gliding is a more of a continuous smooth movement. You can see my sprite just did that. You can make it to point in direction. So that is 90. If I wanted it to point to 100, I can just do that and make it point to 100, as you can see, and yes, so on, so on. You can make it to point towards the mouse, okay, mouse pointer. Of course, this only works. This works better when it's with other blocks, because right now, if I do this, you can see it's pointing up. If I put it here and click it, it's pointing down, because it's there are no other blocks to support this. Otherwise, if I had this in control, then I can program it to do something else. Maybe if you're creating a game, but of course we'll get there. So change Y by X, or change X by 10. You can see changing in the horizontal direction. Change Y by 10, changing in the vertical direction. So set Y to, so you can always try all this if on edge, bounce, and so on, so on. But it's better if you try it on a project. So I'll go to looks. So under the looks palette, we have different blocks as well. And they are, okay, these are things that If you want your sprite to look like it's doing something, like for example, I want it to look like it's saying hello, you could edit that part and make it say something else. You could time it, say hello for this period of time, or just say hello and maybe stick there. You can see it's there forever, and make it look like it's thinking. If you look at and this, or if I was to have this as also hello with the exclamation mark, and if I was to have this with the exclamation mark, I want you to tell me the difference. So this first one, let me make it rotate first. Let me make it face upwards. Oh, okay. Let me make it there. So the first one, you can see it's looking like it's saying something, but this other one, there's some bubbles before it looks like a rectangular with smooth edges boundary. So this is thinking, more of thinking. This is more of just saying something. So you can utilize that on your animation as well, on your stories, if you're building stories on this platform. Okay, thank you. Welcome back, Mr. Eric. Karibu sana. Yes, welcome. Okay, so I can see so many teachers are joining. Sorry, this came late, but I'm happy. I'm happy we are now catching up. Okay, Mr. Abubakar, karibu sana. Okay. Now, I'd like us to move quickly. So if you want to switch costumes, you can see I've just switched costume to costume 2. You can switch it back to costume 1 that way. And you can always call the next costume. You can see that is changing the next costume. You can switch backdrops. I don't have backdrops here. If I wanted to switch backdrop, then I need to add the backdrops first somewhere here. So backdrop. Then you can change the size of this sprite by just dragging the change block. You can make it negative or positive. So if you want to reduce the size, you just add your negative sign there, and there you go. So you have it negative. Thank you. You can also change the size in terms of percentage, like 100 or say negative. If we say negative 50, what will happen? So you can always use percentage, or you can always use just size, raw values. You can also change the color effect of your. So I've reduced the size to 5. So let me get it back. So change the color effect. You can see change the color effect by 25, and I'm able to change the color effect by just utilizing this block. Thank you for those who are just joining us. In case you feel behind, we are having also this recorded on the YouTube, and it will also be available after the call. Yes, so you can try out all that. Let me share the link again for those who have just joined. This is the link to the platform we're using. We're using Scratch platform. Okay, if you have any question, please feel free to use the chat section to ask. Okay, I'll move forward. Under looks, we have sounds palette, and under sound palette, we have different blocks. So we have play this sound like a cat. You can always toggle that. You can also record your own sound and use it in your animation. There are other sounds as well on this platform. I'll show you how to import them. You can always import different sounds as well, inbuilt sound from the platform. You can download somewhere else and load it on this platform, and also record your own. So again, I'll show you all that when we start working on the project. Maybe you have like you've done your project and you have this long how do you call it? You have maybe sounds that are now interfering with your code, or you are getting into a scene where you want to like use other sounds, but then you had other set of sounds are playing in the background. You can always use this to stop all the sounds. This block here. Okay, so you can also change the pitch. So if maybe you have more, you can change the pitch. Yeah, you can always change the pitch by the pitch effect by a value like 10, 20, 50, and so on, so on. You can and then there's another set of activity that is happening, and then now you want to change like the mood of the setting. Then you can use that. You can adjust on the sound effect, or you can clear previous sound effects. Next, we have events. And events is now when do you want something to happen? I want this to happen when a flag is clicked. For the last three palettes that we've explained, I was dragging them to the scripting layer, and I was activating them manually. So if you want here to activate them, then use this when flag is clicked. If you did a code and at some point you want to activate the code, maybe with a click of one of the keys on your keyboard, then you could use this. Maybe when the space bar is clicked, something to happen. If up arrow is clicked, something else to happen. And you have A to Z animation or game. Also, you can utilize when this sprite is clicked. So if maybe you are playing a game and then you activate another sprite, then it calls another activity, or you are just writing an animation and then interactive animation. So when you click on a particular sprite, then it activates another scene. So you can always do that. You can also write sets of commands when backdrop switch. So you can have like a storyline, and then you time when the backdrop, when the setting is switched, then it should run that command below it. Also, you can also utilize the sound effects when loudness is greater than. So you can always quantify sound, have a scale. Maybe if it is greater than this, then this particular set of command should come on. Also, you can broadcast messages on this platform using when I receive. So when I receive, say message one, you can also customize your messages. For example, I can receive a custom message, and this message can be 1 million teachers text. So once you have that, then you can say when I receive 1 million teachers text or scene, then this is the part of code that I want to run. Okay, so that's I had two more left. You can also broadcast just custom messages in between codes. This is when you want them to become like header, but then you can also broadcast between codes. So you have an activity that is happening, and then in between there, before another set of activity, you broadcast a message, then you receive it on the other end. You can decide to wait. You can decide to proceed, or you can just broadcast. The other set of activities can happen the other side, and also this one can also continue. Now, depending with whatever you are making. Let's get to control whatever you are making. So one of the blocks we have for that is wait. So you can always write a scene or an activity and then tell your robot, tell your sprite scene. We also have repeat. How long do you want this part of activity to repeat? Do you want it to repeat 10 times, 5 times before another set of activity? We also have forever. forever block, so happen. So you can always have if and if and if and another if, and you can always have if inside if inside if inside if. We also have if then else. So I want you to note the difference between if then and if then else. Okay. So if then is more of an open, like if then, if you go to the store, bring me a pen. Okay. What if you don't go to the store? If then, if you go to the store, bring me a pen. Else, you can always give it another instruction. So this is more accurate than the first one. But again, depending on the situations, there are situations that you may just need an if then. For example, when you start developing now a bit advanced animation projects on this platform, you may have an if then inside another if then, or an if then inside another, or an if then else inside an else statement. So again, this again depends with the logic that you are building for your project. We have wait until. You may decide to have a set of activities or scenes, and then you just want to wait until another activity happens before another set of activity. So the second last one, we have repeat until. So you may decide to repeat a particular set of commands until something happens to activate now, to either activate or stop the first command. We have stop all. So you may maybe you are building a game, and then you get to a point where now you want to kill part of a script. Then you this to stop just for this sprite or for sprite or all of them. So this is very, very useful, but again, you'll get to appreciate when you'll start using it. We have sensors. So I know sensing in an animation platform. You see, when you are building interactive that we're talking about, but you want the learner to your creation. So you may decide to say when touching mouse pointer, then something else to happen, or you may decide to use color coding. So touching this, then this should happen. You may decide to use, if this color is touching this color, then another activity to happen. This again happens when we are able to sense different objects on this platform. We do have operators, and mathematics teachers, I know this is where you like the most, where numbers are being added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided. Same to this platform. You may want to do some arithmetics, and now operators come in to play. We also have time is equals to this or greater than this, or any other thing you want to compare, and or not. You can always use this, but again, you will get to appreciate them better when you'll be working on projects. Allow me to introduce variables. Now, variables are just data containers. So when you talk about data containers, we mean they are just more placeholders, something to store our data. So we may decide to create a variable to just store the score. Okay, you may create another variable to just store time. Okay, yeah, to record, able to write inside them to be useful. In layman, I'll call them functions. So function functions, you may decide like to animate a story and then the eating process. You've already set the scene. Maybe you are building an animation for family gathering. Members are already around the table, but how do they now eat? So how do they coordinate the arms? How do they pick the for like 2 minutes or inside your story? So you can always write functions to help you automate that. But not only that, such a scene, you can always leverage on functions for more. Okay. Yes, again, this more of just an introduction session. For those who are already used to this platform, there is more of a walkover. There is also an extension here. We have extension for music. So this will give you music palettes. Okay, for those who want to add some music. We also have for drawing. If you want to draw, there's an extension there. We have video sensing, text to speech, where maybe you just write text and then the system will just speak it to out. Great. Yeah, though it takes some time. We also have translate, and there's also integration of hardware here. You can also use this platform to code Maki Miki. You can code Microbit, you can code Lego, you can code. Again, this platform is open source, and so many manufacturers have been able to this. And cool customized to suit their hardware to as many platforms as possible to so they can develop creativity and write as many stories or animations or codes as possible. Now, with that, I'd like to know if there is any question from the team, from the members, then we can proceed. Any question? You can just raise your hand and then you ask a question if you have one. Any question? Oh, okay. Thank you. How do I get the extension? So the extension, you can always get it down here, bottom right.